please welcome to the stage your moderator, MTV host and host of Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Josh Horowitz!
Hey, New York Comic Con, how you doing? Welcome to this massive Star Trek universe panel, guys. This is, you've come to the right place. You're going to get your money's worth today. I am indeed Josh Horowitz. I'm a host for MTV. I host a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused. But most importantly, guys, I have to say, I've moderated a lot of panels over my years. But my roots, I grew up in the city. I went to Star Trek conventions. I don't know if anybody here relates to this. I went to Star Trek conventions. It was across from Madison Square Garden at the old Roosevelt Hotel. I waited online for Gene Roddenberry's autograph. Mark Leonard autographed my Star Trek 4 poster. I'm one of you guys. I am going out of my mind with the folks that are backstage today. It's going to blow your mind. We're going to cover a lot. And we're covering the worlds of Star Trek Discovery. We're going to cover Star Trek Prodigy. And hold on to something, because we're gonna bring out some folks later on talking about Star Trek Picard that's going to blow your mind. We're going to start in a second. And by the way, we've got exclusives galore. You're going to see stuff for the first time. It's a good place to be. One note, Sonequa Barton Green isn't here in person, but you're about to get a special treat through the wonders of modern technology. She will be here with us today. But the good news is, beyond just her joining us virtually, we have, like I said, an insane panel. So let's just fill up these chairs and talk some Star Trek for an hour and a half. How's that sound? All right. Please give it up for executive producers Alex Kurtzman, Rod Roddenberry, Michelle Paradise, and some of the amazing cast of Star Trek Discovery, Anthony Rapp, Wilson Cruz, and joining us virtually from her captain's chair, Sonequa Martin Green.
Hi, Mama. Can you see us?
Hey, how y'all doing, family?
Guys, welcome. A lot of love in this room. We're so excited to have you. Talk to me first. Just what's it like to be back at New York Comic Con? This is an important place for Star Trek for this show. How does it feel to be back, guys?
I'm a New Yorker. Come on, New York! New York!
I am also a New Yorker. This is our favorite time of the year. Hello, New York Comic Con. We love you.
Sonequa, is that captain's chair in your living room at home? Where are you? Is that just...
I am here in the studio, in the chair. I am very grateful that we were able to get this set up and I was able to be there with you. How are y'all doing there in New York? Oh, it's good to see you. And we've got this set up because we were shooting until early this morning. And there was no way I was gonna make it, so I'm glad I'm with you virtually.
You look like you have had sleep and yoga and a massage. You look gorgeous.
Well, thank you very much. That's kind of you.
They don't talk about the massage settings in the chair. You just hit a button and it just does all the work.
Here.
Yeah.
It's right here. There's also a pocket for my cell phone. So.
Perfect. It's got everything. You look natural in that chair, to say the least. Thank you for joining us from set. Okay. Let's get right into it. With courtesy of Sonequa, I think you have something special for the audience. Should we get right to it?
Yeah. So, do y'all want to see a peek of season 5 of Star Trek Discovery? Because if you do, it's coming your way. Enjoy.
That was our first time, too.
So you went quiet and understated this season. You decided to just tamp it down a bit. There's a lot to unpack there. Let's get right into it, because obviously we see some familiar faces, but we see a bunch of new faces too. Michelle, where do we start? A few faces in there. What's a key? We'll test out your microphone. Can you hear her? There we go. Teamwork.
I didn't get a working microphone. Pass it back and forth.
So a few new characters in there. What can you tease about what's to come this season?
Yes, we have 3 new friends joining us this season. Callum Keith Rennie, fabulous, is joining us as Captain Rayner. Captain Rayner is a captain of a different starship. He's a bit of a gruff captain, and he's got some things to learn, so he will learn those things. And then, very specific for all of you, we also have Eve Harlow and Elias Tufexis joining us as Maul and Locke. They are a bit of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of character this season, and former couriers. For those of you who've been watching the show, you know that Burnham and Book were couriers during Burnham's time here after they came to the future. So let's just say they come into conflict with our heroes.
So backstage, we have like a half-hour talk about what we can't talk about, but I'm going to put some of your actors on the spot now. Guys.
Oh, yeah, that was Callum.
Okay. Anthony Wilson, what do these new characters add to the mix? What should we expect without getting you fired for the next season?
Well, Callum, she described his character as gruff. Callum himself is gruff. He's a lovable teddy bear gruff, but it's like a wonderful new piece of the recipe for the show because, you know, Sonequa is like the lightest light of the world, and then Callum's like, hey, what are we going to do the scene now? What? And so the mixture of their chemistry is really wonderful to see how they bounce off of each other, and it's just, he's a wonderful actor and just a great person to be around. So it's been one of the most enjoyable aspects of the new season. So I think you'll like him.
Amazing. Sonequa, you're knee-deep in this right now. So talk to me a little bit about the vibe this season, some of these new characters, and just a little perspective. I mean, you've been on quite a journey with this character. She's come a long way. How are you feeling in the captain's chair today, 2022?
Yeah, 2022 right now. I'm just, as always, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and joy and admiration for all of us, for this company, and for all of you too. And especially after this week, we were shooting nights and just watching people just like raise the bar, just continue to raise the bar and meet it and give their all. It's so inspiring. Also, sitting in this chair with Nichelle's passing, Nichelle Nichols, recently, and knowing that there's no I in legacy. It's also just, it's profound. I hope my parents are proud, and I hope I make my children proud as well. It's a joy to stand with these people and to sit in this chair.
And it's been an honor to watch her take that chair and the journey that character has been on, to go from a mutineer to be the person who saves the galaxy along with the rest of us, but to really have earned the right and the respect to sit in that chair. But at the same time, you see all of these characters truly in a different place than they were when we first saw them. Each of them, in their own way, discovering, pun intended, their strengths, their weaknesses, who they are, what really makes them earn the right to be on this ship and do the work that they do. It's been an honor, really. We love each other probably more today than we did when we first met 5 years ago, and I cherish every single one of them.
What would you say, can you hint at sort of thematically what we're talking about this season? Past seasons have had central themes that inform the storyline. This new season, Wilson, what would you say the theme is that we're dealing with here?
I mean, I think, well, first of all, tonally, every season we have a bit of a shift in tone, you probably noticed. And this season, even more so. We're on an adventure, truly an adventure. You really see everybody step up and use their strengths in order to solve a mystery, truly. But each of them is also discovering themselves, right? Even more of themselves. And Culber himself is asking big questions again. He's a person who's really, no, spoiler alert, cover your ears for those who haven't watched since season 1, since he's come back to life, has really been learning who he really is and owning all of that. And some of it is a little uncomfortable in relationships, but how we navigate that has also been really exciting to play. But what I love most is just this quest that we're on and how we come together as a team to solve it. I think it's going to be, I swear I say this every season, but I think it's the best season we've ever had.
I agree. It's like you really, everybody is meeting themselves. There's a confrontation that's happening with all of us. There's a confrontation with Burnham and all the other characters that we're having to make those tough decisions about who we really are and who we really are together because of this mystery and because of this adventure in a new way, in a deeper way, in a more profound way than we've ever seen. I give so much respect to the writers for this season because we really do dig deeper than we ever have.
There were some heartbreaking moments between Burnham and Book last season. Can you talk a little bit about what we can expect from the relationship this season, Sonequa?
Oh my, it's complicated. It's like that old Facebook status. What they gonna do? I love it because you see this conflict between mission and love, right? This conflict between duty and relationship, or duty and romance, and how do they fit in? And I think that line between professional and personal crossing over and blending is really fascinating, and that you see that in a lot of ways. You see that with other characters as well, them coming up against am I going to stand for what I stand for, even if it costs me what's most important to me? Because that's the mark of a true hero, I think. And I'm honored that we are essentially this group of heroes, right, making these decisions one mission at a time. And I think that's what's really powerful to see. That's what makes this real and authentic. And even with Burnham too, it's not a cakewalk. You see how hard it is to be a captain and what it really costs to sacrifice and be that sacrificial leader. And I love that across the board. You've got these people that are just willing to sacrifice. They're willing to sacrifice it all. I'm really excited. We're all really excited for y'all to see what we have this season. It's deep.
Let's, yeah.
It's deep.
Stamets and Colbert, we've got them both here. Let's talk about the relationship this season. What can we expect, guys? Where are we at?
We're in a pretty good place. We got our little sort of, I'd say child feels demeaning now because, Adira is grown up a bit, but our child. But so that's going on. But Stamets is on a little bit of a trying to figure out the next what new path of scientific exploration. So that's a really interesting because it's for him science is not just about cool ideas. It's actually his reason for being. So yeah, searching for the thing that will plug him into the next passionate course of his life is a really cool thing to be a part of.
And on top of all of that, like in any relationship, you continue to grow as an individual. And sometimes there are questions that you ask yourself, or you discover things that you discover about yourself, and you wonder, how these new things about yourself affect your relationship. And can you grow together? Will you grow apart? And I'll leave it at that.
But they don't grow apart.
I want my job.
But we don't grow apart.
Always just a moment away from saying too much, right? It's always just...
Exactly.
Always.
The work of these panels is, how do I keep my job and say something interesting?
That is true.
We're going to take some of your questions in a couple minutes, so I want to cue that up for you guys. I assume there are microphones out there. Get your amazing questions ready. Alex, talk to me about keeping it fresh, keeping it exciting. What are you stoked for fans to see this season?
I mean, I think the fact that we do kind of choose a different flavor for every season, but have a very consistent through line. And the consistent through line is watching our characters evolve together. From the beginning, the title Discovery was chosen for a reason, because we wanted it to be about each character's evolution and their evolution as a family, and they've gone through so much together. I think part of what you're hearing too from Sonequa and from Anthony and Wilson is that we've settled into this incredible groove this season. 5 years on a show together is a long time, and it's a long time to get to know each other as characters. It's also a long time to get to know each other as people. Right. And I think that the intimacy and the ease that the characters have with each other is a reflection of how amazing this cast is and how much they love each other. I have honestly never been on a set where everybody loved each other as much as they do. It's right there for the taking, and I think they give that to each other every day when they're shooting. So it's pretty great. I think it's lovely to, having obviously been on from the beginning, to feel this incredible journey of these characters who've stepped into a more confident place by season 5. And I love, for me with Burnham, I think the thing that I'm most excited about is that getting the captain's chair is one thing, but learning what it means to be a captain is a constantly evolving process. Right.
Obviously, for you, Rod, there's a lot of lip service about a lot of shows about inclusivity and representation, but truly it's in the DNA of Star Trek from the beginning. It's one of the many reasons why we adore what your father created here. Can you talk to me a bit about the pride you must take, the importance for you to carry on that legacy in this show?
The IDIC philosophy, infinite diversity from infinite combinations, which you guys all know so well, that is the backbone of Star Trek. And that's what everyone's talking about here on stage. But this show in particular has really shown that both in story, on screen, and behind the camera. It's really been beautiful to see this. In Star Trek, they're not going out looking for strange-looking aliens. They're going out looking for people who look at the universe in a different way, because we're at a point in our evolution where we realize that we need to better ourselves, and the only way to do that is to get different and new ideas. And so that's what the core fundamental idea of Star Trek is, out there finding new and unique ideas so we can enhance our own. And Discovery is doing that beautifully, season after season. So thank you, guys.
More than carrying the legacy, definitely, guys. We got time for a few questions. I assume there's some microphones out there. Let's hear your amazing questions for this awesome panel.
Oh, look at y'all.
There they are.
Well, there's a lot of people here.
They're hiding in plain sight.
So pretty.
They're finding microphones. Come on up. Here we go.
I have a question. Was that Sonequa riding a starship?
Did they not tell you, Rod? What's going on?
Well, I just want to point that out. That last was
yes, that was Sonequa riding on top of a starship.
Wow.
While it was at warp.
That is impressive.
It's a very low-key season. Not much happens. There's no action or adventure except for that one moment. Just so you know.
Gotcha. She does her own stunts.
Yeah, just easy day on set, obviously. We're going to go on this side over here, I believe. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Elise, and first of all, it was really cool. I went to camp at the same time as you did at Interlaken. And I had come out shortly before My So-Called Life came out. So, I mean...
Hi, love.
Hi. And of course, I saw you on in Rent, Anthony, so... Sorry. So what I wanted to ask was sort of my history of seeing you guys at work. What brought you into the Star Trek universe and wanting to take on these roles? And also thank you for being an out gay couple on this show, which is a dream come true for me since I've been watching since the original series with my mom. So.
Well, I've been a nerd since I could read or watch things. And Star Trek, the original series, was one of the things I used to watch coming home from school, and I always loved it, especially Spock, especially Leonard Nimoy as Spock. But I did not know there was a new Star Trek being developed. It was news to me when one night I got just an email from my manager, like, "Are you interested in being in the new Star Trek show?" And I was like, "Uh-huh!" And I was sent, in the email was they call them sides, like the material to look at, and it had a self-destruct thing on it because it was like so top secret. But anyway, it was like, there was never it was like the most instantaneous yes I could have ever said in my whole life. So it was literally something that dropped out of the universe into my lap, and it's been an incredible gift, is how Star Trek came into my life.
And I had the exact opposite experience in which I knew all about the fact that they were making a new Star Trek, and I chased it down like the rabid dog. Because it fit so neatly into my world perspective. It's also what I believe our industry should be doing. This is what a cast of anything should look like. It should look like the world we live in. And I wanted so badly to be in it. I heard there was going to be a gay character, and then I heard that my friend Anthony Rapp was going to be playing that role, and so I put my dream in my pocket. And then a couple weeks later, I got a phone call saying he was going to have a partner. And here I am. And then they told me he was going to wear white spandex, and I made my way to the gym. And it has been the honor of my life to be half of this relationship with this specific person who is a hero to me and to so many of us. And I'll leave it at this. He and I never talked about, the history of this relationship or, backstory. We just looked at each other and said, we are going to base this relationship on the very real and true love as friends that we have for each other. And we took it from there.
Yeah, I echo everything that they've both said about the reasons why, we were so moved by doing this. I was finishing up Walking Dead, and I heard that it was happening. I heard that they wanted a black woman at the helm, and I said, I want this. I want this for all the reasons that Wilson just said. And by the way, that coat, Wilson, chef's kiss. All of y'all look so beautiful there also. But yes, it was a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of thing. It's like, this is very much the dream of an actor, is to do things like this that are so important, that mean something, that have impact. And God showed up and showed out. And here we are.
Amen.
Sonequa, you should know, Wilson's only note backstage, will she be able to see the coat?
I said, is she going to be able to see us? And they said, yes. I said, good, because I want to make sure she sees the coat.
And I love it.
I think we have time maybe for one more. Go ahead, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tim, and some of my favorite Discovery episodes are the genre bending. So like the season 1 time loop, or in season 3, Philippa Georgiou's kind of flashback-esque kind of into the mirror dimension, and the previously stated Anthony Rapp made Rent, or helped make Rent.
Thank you.
And was also in my personal favorite, one of my personal favorite episodes of Psych the Musical.
Oh, thank you.
Could we expect a Discovery musical in any episode?
Please, can I say, because both of them are heroes, okay? Anthony and Wilson, they're making change in the world. Please, Michelle, please, Alex, please, Rod, can we have them sing?
We've only been asking for it for 5 years.
Please.
I mean, nothing would make me happier than to do a Star Trek musical. Let me just say anything's possible. How about that? Anything's possible.
Yes.
I think that's a green light, guys. I think we just made it happen.
Yes. Hallelujah.
I want to thank this amazing panel. I want to thank Sonequa for dropping in
We love you,
from
girl.
set. That captain's chair fits you very well. Please give it up for the amazing cast and creators of Star Trek Discovery. All the seasons, of course, are streaming now on Paramount+. We can't wait to see season 5, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, don't go anywhere. We are about to shift into a little show called Star Trek Prodigy. Star Trek Prodigy talk. Of course, Prodigy had its premiere screening here right at this very stage last year, and we are so thrilled to have the cast and producers back again, joining Alex Kurtzman and Rod Roddenberry on stage. Let's give it up for executive producers, showrunners, and creators Kevin Hageman and Dan Hageman, co-executive producer and director Ben Ebon, and some of the cast of Prodigy. Give it up for Brett Gray Dow, the amazing Jamila Jamil, now part of the cast, and guys, give it up for the one and only hologram Janeway, Vice Admiral Catherine Janeway. It's Kate Mulgrew!
Little musical chairs up here.
I'm getting the chills, guys. You good? You with me? Okay, this is exciting. This is exciting. Welcome, guys. Wow, Jamila, I'm just absorbing your outfit. Well done.
Oh, I just felt shy. Didn't want to be noticed.
Just another day at Comic-Con. Guys, welcome. This is an important place for Star Trek, and in particular for this show. As I said, it debuted here last year. Talk to me now that the first batch of episodes are out in the world. How has it felt to see how the fans have received this show?
Kate, do you want to say something?
Oh, is this me?
Sure.
It feels absolutely terrific. And I thought it couldn't get much better than Voyager, and being the first female captain was pretty great. But we're targeting the demographic that we have somehow missed all of these years, that is most appreciative of the ideology of Star Trek, and that's children. And it will begin a cross-generational conversation, the likes of which we've never seen before in Star Trek, because the 5-year-old is going to be asking her mother what's going on, and the mother who watched Voyager will be asking her mother who watched Next Gen, and who will be asking her mother who watched Bill Shatner, I guess. And it will be passionate and novel and innovative and new and very bloody exciting, don't you think?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I feel like we should kick off this section with something special. Kevin and Dan, would we have something for the audience? I mean, we have the cast, but should we bring something else out?
Wait is over.
We've got a little treat. We have a little mid-season trailer to show for the next 10 episodes.
Let's take a look. For the cast, what's it like to see yourself in that form? This is different than just watching, like, you know, live action. You have a sense on set of how it's going to turn out, but it must be pretty surreal to see the finished product like that.
Well, one can only hope that it's slightly different than live action. I was sentient in live action.
Right.
This is animation.
That's fair. That's fair.
But equally as interesting, right?
Yes, I think it's 50-50.
Especially when you have several iterations of your character.
I was going to say, talk to me about, do you feel like there are obviously different forms of Janeway now we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
Does it feel like distinct characters? They all obviously have the through line, but do you feel like you're approaching this now hologram Janeway versus Vice Admiral Janeway versus...
Approaching a saturation point, is that what you're trying to...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I want more. I want 1,000 Janeways.
More iterations and more iterations. Alex, can there be more
Absolutely.
iterations?
Of course, as many as you like.
It's thrilling to play Vice Admiral Janeway and hologram Janeway. Of course it is. And to know that children are watching it is wonderful. And to play with him is really fun.
Yes. We see the Borg in this. Can we talk about what it's like to approach the Borg through the prism of Prodigy? Is that a challenge for you guys? Ben?
The Borgs, Romulans, Klingons, we're going to see them all, which is, it's a gift that keeps on giving, I think, for us and the crew. We love these characters. We love their designs, what they represent, how they've been approached in prior shows, and we're just, loving iterating on it and just respecting them from the base and just adding that little Prodigy twist to it. So yeah, it's an amazing gift.
Brett, can we talk about, from that teaser, we can tell that it seems like Dal's going to learn where he came from?
Yes.
Would you like to reveal to everybody right now, just to ruin the show?
I'm horrible with spoilers, so I can't reveal it, but I can say it's going to be epic, and there may be more questions than answers. It's really awesome to see sort of his growth because, I mean, Dal hasn't known who or what he is or what his purpose is since the very beginning of the series. So although he's learned a lot and been through a lot, it's only just beginning, really.
Amazing. Talking about beginnings, guys, let's welcome Jamila Jamil to the Star Trek universe.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. Congratulations on being a part of Star Trek. Talk to me when this call comes, when this opportunity came. How does it feel sitting here, being now officially a part of the Star Trek lore?
I can't believe it. I've been watching Star Trek since I was like 4 years old with my brother. So when the email came in offering me the role, I didn't ask how much money. I didn't ask to read a script. I wrote like a screaming yes, I think, in caps locks. Probably. I was over the moon, and I couldn't believe it. And you guys were with me in the booth every time you would reveal to me which character would be coming onto our show. And now I'm absolutely terrified I'm about to reveal something. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm a massive, long-time fan, and this is a huge honor. And for this show to be so beautifully written and beautifully animated, as a fan, I thank you. Because it means that you're taking us seriously and you're taking the next generation who are being brought into this world seriously and giving them the absolute best. I'm really proud to be a part of this show. Thanks for having me.
I mean, one of the joys of Trek now, having been around for a minute, is passing it from generation to generation. Rod, I mean, I know you've watched the show with your son. I'm sure many people here can relate. They grew up with the show, and now they pass it on to the next generation. What's it been like? It's in your blood, now in your son's blood. What's it been like to share that with the next generation?
So my son is a huge fan of Prodigy. When I first was going to watch it with him, I was going to watch it for him because it was billed as a kids show. This is not a kids show, people.
No.
I mean, those of you who haven't seen it yet, it is Star Trek through and through. And I love the fact that all the shows are so different, but my son has really just latched onto this. And just recently, he got mad at me because, of course, he finished the first half of the season. And he looks at me and he's like, I want to see the next one. You're going to have to wait. He's like, can't you do something? I was like, well, I mean, I've got a fancy title, but I don't think I can do anything. But I may have shown him some sort of unfinished cuts.
Disrespectful.
He loves it. He's 9. My son is Zale. He's 9, and he's been begging me to somehow get him to see the show sooner. So I guess we're going to try to see it sooner. I don't know how.
We agree with your son.
I think we're all going to break into your house now and watch it too.
But no, it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of it. It is so. It's the core of Star Trek. It really is so easy to get into it and understand what it is, because you've got all these diverse characters who know nothing about Starfleet or the Federation or what it means. And of course, I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys have seen it, but it is so great to go on the journey and see them grow and evolve. And I mean, your character at the beginning is a cocky little whatever. what that character grew into was beautiful. I went from like not really liking it to totally respecting the evolution. So well done.
Thank you.
Well
I mean,
done.
it's those guys over there.
Yeah, it's the Hageman brothers. They're geniuses, Kevin and Dan Hageman. Do you want to talk about your genius, gentlemen? I want you to talk about your genius.
Let's talk about our genius.
Let's sidebar. The top 3 most genius things about you guys. What would you say?
I have a brother.
We're ding-dongs. We're not geniuses. I think Kate's got it mixed up.
Yeah, we're not geniuses, but I feel like starting from my brother and I, we put our heart on this thing from day one, on page 1. And I think everyone in our crew, to Ben, our director, and everyone else, everyone loves Trek and knows the importance of this show and the next generation. And just everyone's pouring everything they can into it. So you're welcome.
We thank you for your genius. Thank you. Kate, for you, I mean, look, Trek never goes away, but to revisit this character in this way, it does open it up to a new audience, a younger audience. Have you experienced an appreciation of Janeway in a different way in the last year in seeing a new audience experience this character maybe for the first time in some cases?
I have, absolutely. It ceases to amaze me how thrilled and satisfied I am by this. But I'm going to go back to this genius thing because it's apropos. These guys are extraordinary to collaborate with, not to mention Kurtzman, who is the helmsman, right? And the visionary behind all of this stuff. But when I go into the booth with Kevin and Dan, it's absolutely liberating. It's something you really don't get in live action because live action is by its very nature rigorous and demanding and exacting. But you go into the booth with these guys and Ben at the end, and it's just liberating. So I can do with my voice certain things that I could never do on a set. And it's a fabulous feeling as an actor. So thank you. Thank you for your genius. Thank you for your presence.
I didn't really enjoy our time.
Alex, I want to ask you about, look, there's so much canon to mine in Trek. How do you decide when you're approaching something like this, what aspects of the canon are important to retain and bring into Prodigy? What are the challenges, excitement of this?
I mean, some of it is era-specific, right? So you can't violate what existed within a certain timeline, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go back to Dan and Kevin and Ben because what I feel is I can define their genius in a specific way. They have so much experience as showrunners that they are able to run a show beautifully and understand what that means, but they remember what it's like to be a kid, and they remember what it's like to sit in a theater and feel awe and terror and excitement and growth and promise and possibility. And Ben's artistry, just with his attention to detail, to framing, and to how to take that emotion and put it into the frame. One of the things that we said early on was, you know, this needs to play on a big screen. It needs to be able to hold up on a big screen. And they really, really stayed true to it. I mean, these guys kill themselves to make it look beautiful. And there isn't a frame on any of the shows that doesn't go through the filter of like a level of perfectionism that I think is so hard to achieve. That is not really the answer to your question that you asked me, but the answer is that when you have people that talented, my job is really to get out of the way, right, you know, and let them decide what they feel is appropriate. Because once I know that someone is protecting the soul and the spirit of Star Trek, and they're doing it in a way that's very specific to the nature of that show, you know, what I've really wanted to make sure is that every show has a different feeling, but is recognizably Star Trek. And that requires you to put trust in the people who are running the show. So, again, not the answer to the question you asked, but that's my answer.
Look, it's the Kevin Dan Love Fest. This is a roast for you guys.
They paid us a lot of money to say these things.
This is my favorite day. I feel like there's some of the most inspirational people are on this panel. I mean, Jamila, Kate, Alex, Rod, and Brad. I'm sorry, Brad.
It's okay. I'll get there.
But I'm so proud of our show. I'm so proud of our crew. I'm so proud of our talent. I feel like we're all pushing in the same direction, and it's turning into something beautiful.
We're about to go to a couple questions from you guys, but before we do that, do you guys have any returning characters that we might see, familiar characters from Trek lore?
Who wants to know about returning characters in Prodigy?
They're fine. They don't need to know.
All right.
They're okay.
And coming in this, for you guys who don't know, there's a fellow named Ronnie Cox who plays
Admiral
Jellicoe.
Because, you know, Admiral Janeway needs to have a foil, you know, someone who's, she needs a boss who's going to make things hard for her. So who better than Admiral Jellicoe? And then also...
Outrageous Okana is coming.
Outrageous Okana.
You guys know that.
And just, these are just a look at the future. You know, there's going to be so many more. Our characters are now venturing closer into Federation space, and we promise you there are going to be some really wild, fun, legendary characters coming back in Prodigy.
Love it.
I just also want to add that I think this has kind of come across, but this has been one of the most fun projects I've ever worked on, and I feel as though we all feel that way. And you have created also such an environment of love for Star Trek that is so infectious, and we've made this with every bit of love for you, and I think personally that season 2 is going to blow your fucking balls off.
It's for the whole family, guys.
That was for the
let's, I guess, bring up the lights and get some questions from this amazing audience. Let us see you or hear you.
Hi.
Yes, go for it.
Prodigy and Lower Decks are, obviously both animated, but they feel so much a part of Star Trek. We love seeing Jonathan Frakes in Lower Decks and Kate in this. When are we getting to see Admiral Janeway back live in person on the screen?
Yeah.
Not animated.
Okay.
We're waiting.
Here's what I'm going to say. Things have been talked about. That's all I'm going to say. But nothing would make me happier than to bring Janeway back. I think it would be an incredible, incredible thing to do. There might be an idea in play. Who knows? But I would love it to happen.
But we'd like to bring her back while she's still ambulatory, correct?
Yes, for sure. We're not 10 years down the line. No, we'd like to bring her back sooner rather than later. Yes, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go for it, yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike. I don't really have a question, but it was mostly a thank you, not just for the people on stage, for everyone who's backstage, for everyone who's here, especially for Mr. Roddenberry and your family for this show. Everyone in this room, I feel like, can agree that Star Trek has changed our lives in some manner. For me, in particular, I co-founded an aerospace company. I build rockets to launch satellites now. This is what I do because of the show. So I guess part of my question is, when you hear about that, when you see SpaceX, when you see what's going on at NASA, when you see people like myself who got into space because of you, what is that like? Because you're just reading a script, but you're influencing all of these technologies and all of these advancements, and those of us who want to change what it is to have space travel.
The only thing I can say to that is taking on this legacy in my own way, it's not a burden. This is something that I truly believe in. I'm a fan like you. I want to live in that Star Trek future where there is no war, there is no hunger, there's no greed. We live together because we love each other. And we're trying to, as I said earlier, increase our intellectual wellness. So this is something I'm incredibly proud of. And I do it for that reason. I love Star Trek. Through and through.
Also, let me know when you get a prototype for the food replicator. I'll be there.
Not quite, Fred.
Thanks for your question. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Vincent from Brooklyn. First of all, congratulations on the whole cast. I admit when Prodigy first came out and I heard about it, I was here for the panel last year. I was a little iffy about watching it because I said Nickelodeon, it's for kids. I truly enjoy the show. This question is mainly for Rod and Alex. I know that there was a plan to try to have like a new Star Trek, basically, episodes being able to show every week, it seemed. That was rumors were out. Is that true? Are we going to be having like 5 different series running at the same time?
I think the goal is less to be in the volume business and more to be in the quality business. And so I think the answer is that we will put on as much Star Trek as we feel is maintaining the franchise in a way where it doesn't feel like there's a whole corporate hand that's moving it into position for an outcome goal. It actually, part of what I love is that in a funny way, we're still kind of a mom and pop shop. You know, they're letting us do it in a way that I think is very true to the spirit of Star Trek. And what I get nervous about is when franchises have a lot of sort of corporate hands on them saying like, well, 15 people are going to decide what those shows are going to be. I don't think quality comes from that. And so to me, when I hear a great Star Trek idea and my partners, Rod and everybody who I work with hear it and go, that feels like a great Star Trek show, and you know it right away. You know why? Because you don't have to intellectualize it. You don't have to convince yourself. You hear it and you go, that's it. So as many shows as fit into that category, but not necessarily just to have them on the air. And I think hopefully that keeps it fresh for all of you.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more. Go for it.
Hi, Tim from Queens. We know that Star Trek Strange New Worlds and possibly Lower Decks are going to cross over. Are there any plans for Prodigy to cross over with any current shows? Or if not, what shows would you like to cross over or explore?
That's a common
Popular
question.
question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big Next Generation fan, so I would love to be able to hang with those guys. Please. I promise I'll stop swearing.
Jamila, you might want to stay on stage for a bit because it's about to get real.
I know, no,
Yeah.
trust me, I'm wearing an adult diaper. I'm so excited.
Well, guys, I want to give a big round of applause to this amazing panel. Obviously, Star Trek Prodigy, of course. New episodes are starting October 27th exclusively on Paramount+. Let's give it up for this amazing cast and creators of Star Trek Prodigy. Thank you. Guys, stick around. We are about to get into Star Trek Picard. This is like my holodeck dream come true. Guys, we're going to talk not only about the third and final season about Star Trek Picard, but we're about to bring out a full-on reunion of some of the most iconic performers in Trek history, the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Joining Alex and Rod on stage, give it up for executive producer and showrunner Terry Matalas. Amazing cast of Star Trek Picard and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Here they are. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a privilege to have you here.
Wait, hold on, Terry. Our showrunner, Terry Matalas.
Oh, Terry, I'm sorry, we missed you.
Come
Have a
on.
seat. Welcome.
He wrote it.
For the cast, welcome. This is a moment. Talk to me about getting together finally. This has been thought about, wondered about by fans for years when, you know, we've seen bits and pieces, different cast members get together, but to have you all together, What's it like to be a part of Star Trek Picard now together? Was it surreal, exciting, bizarre? What are the emotions that ran through you making this third season?
Joy, fun.
I'm going to go with surreal and bizarre.
It was hell.
There we go. That's what I wanted. Brent?
It was like swimming in a rainbow with thousands of naked cherubs.
Come home.
Gotta agree. It was genuinely delicious.
Yeah. Patrick, since we are celebrating Next Gen and we're celebrating Picard here today, and all these kind folks have come out here for you guys today, I feel like we should share something maybe with this audience. Should we?
Well, you know, we're short of a lot of stuff, but there is one little detail that I know I can share with you. So, roll it!
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
You approve, Marina? You feel good about it?
I feel good about it. I do. I think it's going to be good.
I will watch
was
that.
there,
I will watch that a lot.
I was jet lagged, so I wasn't sure, but
You were on the fence, but we're all in it together. Congratulations, guys. This looks amazing. There are a bunch of reveals in this trailer, so let's just dive right in. A couple of antagonists we're seeing, one familiar, or actually two familiar, and one new.
Yeah, this is the introduction to our villains for sure. So the first one is Amanda Plummer, who we actually was the only person we ever wanted for this role. She plays Vadic, who is a bit of a mystery and has a deep-seated yet sympathetic reason for wanting vengeance against Picard and the Federation. The second is Daniel Davis, returning as Professor Moriarty, which I just had to have Moriarty back. I don't know what to say. And the third is Lore, played by Brent Spiner.
Is that what? I'm sorry. I was on my phone. I wasn't watching. Can you roll it again?
So you're Lore, and you're back as Lore, just so to catch you up.
Am I?
Yeah.
Are you?
Before Lore?
Yeah. Before Lore.
Before Lore.
There was before.
Before is not in it. Lore is in it.
Laura is in it in a very complicated way, which I think you'll find out ultimately when you watch the show. And what else can I tell you? Really nothing. Because, you know, we were informed long ago. We signed these NDAs.
Yeah.
And
we've signed so many NDAs, we actually feel like one of Trump's mistresses.
It's the last season, guys. You can spill it all. It's okay. You can just you can talk about everything. It's okay. Let's talk about Moriarty's return. I'm very excited about this. Patrick, to work with Daniel again as Moriarty, that relationship between Picard and Moriarty was so special in the original, in Next Gen. Can you hint a little bit about what it was like to work with him again?
He can't. He can't talk about that.
Okay.
You know, it's always very difficult to isolate one colleague rather than many of the others, because not only our permanent team, but also our guest artists have season after season and show after show been so extraordinary and gifted that there is no means that I know of how we can separate them. But Moriarty being back again is both entertaining and threatening.
Amanda's character also looks mighty threatening. Can you tell us a little? Can you hint a little bit, Terry, about what we can expect from? Is it Vadik?
Vadik.
Vadik.
And she is captain of a ship called the Shrike, which you can see in the trailer. And she is a classic Star Trek villain. We really let her go for it, as you can tell in the trailer, and she delivers. She really delivers.
So we heard from Brent as much as he could say about lore, which wasn't much, but that lore is back, maybe, kind of, sort of.
Well, look, here, we actually recently heard from CBS about the NDAs and that we should watch it and not reveal anything. And what we were last told, by the way, is that even if I should reveal something, that not just I will go to jail, and you will too. Yeah. So I'm just trying to help you.
Thank you.
So helpful.
What a story, though, to spend time in jail with this cast. I'll do it for you guys. Let's go down the line, though, and say as much as we can about what we can expect or where your characters are at this season. Let's start at the other end. Michael, can you give us a... Yes, Michael Dorn, everybody. How's Worf doing? What can we expect? Where's Worf at this season?
Worf is on a journey. He's always been on a journey. And I was very fortunate that the producers kind of incorporated both of our ideas about where he's going to be and where he's going to go. And there's a lot of things that I wanted to keep, and a lot of things that they actually convinced me to change about the character. And I think that we will recognize a lot of Worf, and we won't recognize a lot of Worf, which is wonderful. I mean, I love that in terms of as an actor.
Right.
So, yeah.
Great. I feel like if there's one actor on the panel that's going to give me what I want, it's Marina. Marina, you're going to spill it all.
And you'd be wrong. And you would be wrong. My storyline is so wrapped up in what we can't talk about.
Very meta.
Yeah. Troy's back in... Yeah. Thank you, you 5 people. Thank you so much. That's more like it. Jesus. Anybody think I was just a bloody guest star? Honestly. Anyway, so there's stuff that you're going to recognize and be familiar with in what she does, but I have some very wonderful stuff with my Zimbabwe here, or Imzadi as you know him, and there's some really great stuff that we have between the two of us. That's different.
That's all you can say.
That's all I can say.
Stop there.
All I can say. Oh, Jesus. Lipstick on my mic.
You are cut off. Jonathan, pick up the mantle. What can we say about Riker?
I could talk about Riker and Picard. I think. Riker and Picard were often like brothers. And Riker was very supportive of Picard, I always thought.
You were the elder.
I was the elder brother, it turns out. Now you've asked me to help you, and yet, may he rest in peace, Gene Roddenberry, who hated conflict on our show, would be watching sort of antagonistic. We had difference of opinion, let's say. That's all I can say. You blew it. That's it. I was allowed to say that, right?
I think it's pretty good.
I live in fear of CBS.
We are all sweating
They
up here
know
together.
that
I caused problems before.
If you're familiar with the movie Crimson Tide, then you might understand tactically they might have a difference of opinion in this situation with Amanda Plummer.
Who's Denzel? Who's Gene Hackman?
That you have to wait and see.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk to Mr. LeVar Burton about... Yes, sir. What can you tell us, sir?
I can give you some scoop.
I can give you some scoop. Because we are blessed to have had Terry Matalas, who loves this cast, and this part of what he said the other day, which I thought was brilliant, the Berman verse, right? The Berman verse. He has righted what I thought was long time a wrong, in that Geordie was never involved in a healthy relationship with anyone. And I'm happy to report that when we meet him, Geordie is not only married, he has 2 daughters. Both have followed him in the family tradition. One, Sydney, is played by the lovely actress Ashley Chestnut. And Alondra, the other daughter, is played by none other than my own daughter, Mika Burton. Mika Burton. Stand up, Meek. There she is. Woohoo! So as you might imagine, we're all very tickled in the family, and to have Mika grew up around all of these fine folks, and to have her a member of the cast as well as a member of the family is pretty cool.
Yes. If there is one constant in all the conversations we've had today, it's family, and it's passing it on, and it's really beautiful to see. Congratulations. Gates, welcome, and so excited to see that Beverly Crusher, of course, is back, but also seems to be part of the inciting story of this season.
Well, poor Bev. I mean, she's been very sexually frustrated. Decades, okay? Now, they don't go into that like, I was hoping, but at any rate, she's been off somewhere in the universe doing a sort of new Doctors Without Borders thing, and I'll be taking donations for the Imaginary Foundation afterwards, okay? But anyway, she's been working hard trying to do good work, and she's being hunted. And that's all I can say. But I love everything that I get to do in this season, and I love everybody here, and I'm just so proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Rod, I believe you were on set of Next Generation. You probably have memories of that set. So it must be, again, surreal is the word perhaps. What's it like to see these folks gathered again?
So Next Generation was my Star Trek. I grew up with Next Generation. And I had the privilege as a 13, 14-year-old to run around the lot and come on set and see this family here working together. And that's my takeaway from this. I remember it being a family. I mean, you guys were with each other probably sometimes more than maybe your own families. And you guys had so much love for each other, and the camaraderie and the jokes and the laughing. From a little boy's perspective, it just felt warm. It felt home. I mean, you guys loved each other and continue to love each other. That was something that I thought was so unique about the show. It was a family. You guys have brought the family back.
Your dad was a genius at casting. Genius at casting. He just, and because he got it, he knew if you get the casting right, 90% of your job is done, right? Right, Alex? Yeah, right. Just making sure I got that right.
No, you've got it exactly right.
I've never directed,
it's a perfectly
so I don't
cast
know.
show.
But I'm pretty sure that, Gene was pretty much responsible for this cast. We were the last of Gene's children, weren't we? Yeah.
Terry, yes. Terry and Alex, I mean, talking about the characters, it's the core of Trek. It's why we still love Trek and we keep coming back to it. It's these amazing characters and these performances. To finally get the keys to this cast now at this stage, just put me in your headspace of what it was like to tackle this season, finally to have them all gathered and to get to play with the different dynamics that have been established over 30 plus years.
Wow. There wasn't a lot of time to be as terrified. it was an incredible honor. And I think the most important thing was to bring them all into the conversation. The first conversation began with Patrick in season 2 saying, this is where we want to go, this is where we want to end Picard's journey, and Patrick has a bombshell idea that has not been revealed about this season yet, but just you wait. And then it was about sitting down with all of them because they know their characters even better than we do in the fans. They've been to conventions and been asked every question about it. And so it really, as long as they were happy, that was a major part of it. And it worked out. I think it's a pretty satisfying conclusion to these arcs.
Yeah, I mean, we got to where we got to in season 3 because of where we started in season 1. And Patrick was, you probably all know that it was a wonderful dance to bring Patrick back. And one of the things that he was very clear on from the beginning, and we really stood behind it, was that he didn't want to just repeat what he had done, and what everybody had done on Next Gen. He wanted it to be different. Why tell the story if it was just going to be the same thing over again? And so that led to the idea that things had changed radically in Picard's life, and we had lots of conversations about who or should we bring back anybody from the original cast in the first season, and obviously we did. We brought back Frakes and Marina, but I think that what's so satisfying about what you'll see this season is that the show has earned the return of every character, and every character comes back with their own story. And I think you're hearing that in the sort of the testimonials that the cast is giving, and a lot of that is because of the foundation that Patrick so firmly set down in what we're doing. The other thing I will say is that Terry Matalas was so in love in the most beautiful way with the idea of saying, I want to see that last Next Gen movie, that movie that I never got to see. But let's tell that story over 10 episodes and make it one big blowout. And he really delivered on that, because the truth is, if we had sat down and said, let's do a Next Gen movie, and you've got 2 hours to introduce all these characters, everybody would have been shortchanged.
You couldn't do it. Yep.
There's no way it would have worked. And so I think the fact that we got to do it over these 10 hours with this farewell, to me, it's a love letter to what Picard was. It's a love letter to all fans of Star Trek, and to the legacy of this incredible show.
Before we turn it over to the audience for some questions, Alex and Terry just alluded to this, Patrick. It was a big decision for you to take on this character again, and I know you really put them through the ringer to make sure it was worth your while, that it was done the right way. Sitting here today, does it feel like this fulfilled the promise of those initial conversations? Give me a sense of what it feels like at this point.
Fulfilled way beyond anything that I had imagined. And that was what gave me the continuing driving force and energy, because we shot season 2 and 3 back to back. That was about 13 to 14 months of continuous work. And what our producers, writers, crew, sound recorders, editors, everyone did was to create something original, which had always been my hope and my endeavor. Yes, at the beginning, I had been uneasy about it being a reunion. But as I worked with one after the other of my dear, beloved colleagues, I saw how important it was and how well it was working. And so we agreed, yes, let's at some point bring everyone back, and who knows, even everyone together. But before I just wrap up this, a personal moment for me. Today is a special day for a dear friend of my wife and myself. In the audience among you somewhere is Dahlia. And Dahlia is 14 years old today. Dahlia, would you stand up and would you wish her happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Dahlia.
Over here, to your right, guys.
Woo!
To your right. Over here.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
And we'll keep the lights up for some audience questions. I can't imagine you guys have any questions for this panel, right? Let's start on my left over here. Yeah.
Hi, this is Karishma from New Jersey. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry if I don't sound coherent because I'm very close to tears. Mr. Roddenberry, thank you so much for bringing this whole cast together again because, like you said, this was my generation. This is the cast that I grew up with. I used to watch it with my maternal grandfather. It's the only show we watched together. It's probably why I'm in tears. You guys have no idea how much it means to us to see you all together after all this time.
If you cry, you get a hug.
I'm sorry. So my question is really for all of you. Who is an actor or a story or a movie that resonates with you so deeply that it moves you to tears?
I think some of the best moments are real life, and that one was pretty moving for me.
And she's going to run down for everybody. And
Let's form a line, be orderly about it.
If you cry, you get a hug. That's my policy. That's my job. I'm the counselor. Goodness sake. Oof, now I'm having a hot flash.
Let's go over here, yeah.
Hi, I'm Emma. Sorry, I'm really overwhelmed. I have two quick questions. Number one, Mr. Burton, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done to cultivate a love of literature in my generation. It really means so much. My mom's a librarian. I was wondering, this question's for everyone. Have you read anything really good lately? And my second question is, I'm kind of new to Star Trek. I started watching at the beginning of the pandemic, and it really gave me something to hold on to and keep me sane. And I was wondering if there was something like that for you guys over the past couple of years.
I've binged a lot of great TV. I really have. And thank you. And for all the rainbow heads in the room. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. It's in a God love y'all. That was awesome.
We get hugs, we get songs. Guys, we're in the right place. Let's go back over here. Yep.
Hi, my name's Nicole. I'm from Long Island. And my question was just, this is the final season of Picard, and it's something that started back with Next Gen. I was just kind of wondering, does this feel final for you guys, or is it a chance that we'll see more in the future for all of you?
Who knows?
boy, I would love it to go on forever. Yeah. Be fun.
Yeah. We're not dead yet.
We're not dead. we're just old.
Close.
Yeah.
We're just
Close, but
old.
not yet.
And they're very kind because they don't call us the old ones. They call us the legacy actors. That's very kind. Instead of the old farts, they call us the legacy actors.
And, you know, just in case it's possible well, I know there are some Paramount Plus people here today, and also from Paramount Pictures. We could still make a movie.
I understand there's a Star Trek slot in the Paramount menu, if you will.
But that slot is keeping Paramount upright.
It's an open slot.
And as long as they're here, Paramount Plus, I wouldn't mind having my own series.
We're making dreams come true today, guys, for everybody here. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go for
You
it.
get a series, and you get a series, and you get a series. Oprah gets a series.
I'm Ronnie, and I'm from Long Island, and I discovered Star Trek in early high school, and ironically enough, I used to prefer Star Wars, but that kind of ended literally the second I found Star Trek. And so I grew up feeling very alone, and Star Trek and this community and everyone around, and it really helped fill something for me. So I guess my question is, from that first day, I'm talking first week Encounter of Farpoint came out to now, how has this community, like, is there any specific moment in mind where this community, where your cast members, is there anything that just jumps out in mind where you felt, you know, that sensation of not feeling alone? Because that's what you all did for me. You gave me something.
Beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
One of the great joys of coming to these conventions, which we've all done for 35 years, is obviously the idea that we get to see some of our friends and have dinner with them. But all levity aside, the reaction, like yours, that we have from all of you individually, everybody seems to have a story around how this show has affected their lives, has saved them, has helped their families, have helped them through physical and emotional ailments. And it has been consistent for 35 years, and it is uplifting, and it makes me very proud to be part of this family for that reason.
Well said.
And what's incredible too is that we are all a community, because we would not exist without you, or you, and let's be real here. But what's cool is how I feel everybody keeps growing together, you know, as this sort of community. We care about the future, and we believe in the possibilities in the future, and I think that's pretty fantastic and really awesome to be part of it.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Oxford, North Carolina, not New York, sorry. For a lot of us in here who grew up with parents who weren't really able to be around a lot, thank you for being such great role models, both on and off screen. I have a daughter doing 2 months, and she will absolutely grow up with the next generation and reading Rainbow. And the best Christmas Carol was her Pat. Best version. But my question is, with every series up to now, we've seen kind of handing of the baton, whether it was McCoy on the Enterprise, or Generations, or Cisco and Picard. I know there's slight challenges with the setting, but will we see that handing off of the baton between the next generation and the current series that we see with the new captains?
Definitely.
Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm from New Jersey, and thank you all for coming. Star Trek has meant so much to me as it does to anyone else. And Patrick, I did see you at Ian McKellen 8 years ago in No Man's Land, which you were spectacular in, by the way. So my question is there a particular franchise that you would love to see Star Trek cross over with, or an actor from said franchise other than Star Trek do you like to see cross over in Star Trek?
I'd like to reclaim Carl Urban from The Boys.
I love that show.
Wouldn't we all? Yes.
I miss Carl Urban. Because when we used to do panels, if we couldn't get Patrick because he was busy doing something, or just didn't want to be with us, Carl Urban would sub for him. I preferred that personally. Because he's much nicer to look at. I know you all fancy old Baldy, but I don't. Okay. But anyway, that's who I would have back, Carl Urban.
It's a true family. This is what families do, guys, right? One more question. Yes, please.
Well, I didn't think I was going to make it this far, so yeah. All of you are some of my heroes, and thank you so much for coming back this time. I'm an aspiring actor, and I was wondering, do you have any advice? And again, thank you so much for answering my question.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep going.
Do the work.
That's what we all did. We
Do
just
the
kept
work
going.
and be present.
Okay. I'm going to write that down and put it on my bedside, so thank you so, so much.
Oh, question!
Look, I just want to say, I mean, I feel like you can feel the love from everybody in this room, and every single person here, including myself, feels such a connection and so much gratitude. And I'm going to speak on behalf of everybody to close this out. Thank you for what you've done the last 35 years. And thank you. You contributed so much, and we are so excited for the final season of Star Trek Picard. Guys, give it up one more time for this amazing cast, the creators of Star Trek Picard. All episodes of all the Star Trek shows we've talked about today and more, of course, are streaming now on Paramount Plus. Thank you for coming out today, guys.